led by Barry Foster. The Steelers own the NFL's best rushing attack. They will try to ride that and a rock-solid defense to their first Super Bowl in 15 years. Our vantage point here at Three River Stadium, about 30 feet from the corner of the left end zone, and a good place to keep an eye on the developments here this afternoon. Hi, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Ahmad Rashad, Mike Ditka, and Joe Gibbs. The weather has been a big story. It rained all morning heavily. It has stopped, but for a little drizzle now, but they are expecting more rain later on this afternoon. What does that do to this game, Joe?
Well, I think, first of all, the wind can be the biggest factor, but today there's no wind. It's not going to affect both quarterbacks. I think they'll be in good shape. There's no freezing conditions. I tell you, San Diego must have brought it with them. I think the only danger would be San Diego doesn't play on a lot of turf. If they came here ill-prepared to play on wet AstroTurf, but we actually saw in the locker room today that that's not the case at all. As a matter of fact, the equipment managers were actually grinding down some of the slick new parts of their shoes so they have better traction. And Mike actually has 3 sets of shoes that they actually brought with them in preparation for this game.
Well, you got to give San Diego a lot of credit. They're really prepared equipment-wise. They brought this shoe for dry weather. They're not going to need that one today. This shoe is for wet weather, for rain, especially a lot of rain. It has a longer cleat, give them better footing. They'll use this in the second half of this football game if the rain comes. But this is the shoe they'll start with. And this is what Joe was showing you, grinding down the small tip of the end of this cleat to get better traction, to take the newness away from it. You got to give these guys a lot of credit in San Diego. The coaching staff and the equipment staff, they came prepared.
All right, gentlemen, and for those who thought that the Chargers would find themselves in drastically different weather here, the temperature in San Diego at our last report, 59 degrees with a light rain, identical to here in Pittsburgh. We'll hear more from both our coaches shortly, but we will begin our coverage with the 2 gentlemen standing by to call the action for you, Dick Enberg and Bob Trumpy. And Dick Enberg is handling the AFC Championship for the 18th straight year. Now that's a dynasty, Dick.
Greg, great to be here. This guy was still wearing 84 on his Bengal uniform in those years. We're going to go to an unlikely spot today to look for a hero in this AFC Championship game. In the middle of an offensive line. And if you go back 20 years in this Pittsburgh Steeler glory years, that guy, Mike Webster, was as important as all the big-name stars. And they've got one again in 1995. Dermontti Dawson in his 7th year out of Kentucky.
Dick, he's extraordinary. He's a bigger, faster, stronger version of Mike Webster. And Webster is going to the Hall of Fame. Now we're going to take a play from last week's game against Cleveland. Look at the set of the defensive tackle. Most coaches would want to double team that guy, but with Dawson's athletic ability, he singles. That allows Justin Strelsick, the right guard, 73, to pull out here. The lane that's produced because of that single block by Dermontti Dawson just opens beautifully for Barry Foster. Now they asked Dawson to do a great deal up there on the offensive line. With his range and strength, he does it consistently.
And because of Dawson's success, coaches credit him with the fact that the Steelers are the best rushing team in the NFL. And Dawson will be looking right into the eyes of number 55, Junior Seau.
And, Dick, this is why this is a big matchup. The defensive tackles from San Diego must keep center and guards from Pittsburgh off Junior Seau. What he does best is roam side to side. They've got to leave those pursuit lanes open for him to make tackles.
And remember, the Chargers led the AFC in stopping the run. Greg?
All right, Dick and Bob, thank you. On tap today, a trip to the Super Bowl. Let's talk about the keys to this matchup. We'll begin with the hometown Steelers. Joe?
Well, Pittsburgh on defense, their key always starts with the blitz. I think today they're going to blitz to stop the run on 1st and 2nd down. And what they're gambling on is their corners can cover San Diego's receivers. So that's going to be an interesting matchup to see if they can do that. The other thing that they do in their blitzes, which is very tough on the quarterback, many times they'll blitz the outside linebackers or safety, but yet drop off defensive linemen. That's confusing for Stan Humphries. He's going to have to be able to read that today. And on offense, I think the key, we talked about Dermontti Dawson, Dick and Bob did, about what a good blocker he is, but also I think their tight ends are outstanding. We're going to see Eric Green and Jonathan Hayes lined up here as their 2 tight ends. Hayes at the top, Green at the bottom. I circle both those guys to show you the quarterback's got them balanced. In this case, he simply comes to the line of scrimmage, audibles to one or the other. Look at that block by Eric Green. He's 290 pounds. This guy looks like a Winnebago when he comes out, and you can run behind a guy like that. I think today you're going to see Pittsburgh balance up the 2 tight ends, audible away from San Diego. They like to use an overshift and run away from him to those big tight ends. That'll be the key matchup there.
All right, Joe, the San Diego Chargers, the visiting team today. Mike, what's important for them?
Well, you know, you're talking about tight ends. San Diego has a couple big tight ends, Pafunu and Young, and they've got to use these guys to control the 2 outside linebackers, Greg Lloyd and Kevin Green. If they can control those guys, keep the pass rush off of them, frustrate them a little bit, make them get frustrated, they're going to have some success. On defense, the other thing they've got to do now, they cannot miss tackles. They must make the tackle when they come up to hit those backs. Cleveland missed a lot of tackles last week, and that's what killed them.
All right, Mike and Joe, Ahmad has more on the man in charge here in Pittsburgh. Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Greg. Usually following the legend does not work out too well, but it has been working out well for Steelers head coach Bill Cowher, who succeeded Chuck Noll 3 years ago. He's only 37 years old, and if the Steelers win today, he'll be the youngest head coach ever in a Super Bowl.
He trusts us, and we trust him. And if you're walking through an alley, you will walk behind them, and you can trust that both of us will come out alive.
The one thing we can't control is for the next quarter and a half is dominate their ass.
Bill, he's the kind of guy, he's going to laugh and joke with you. You know, when he's serious, you're going to know he's serious. He's a just player-oriented guy. So by him being young and not being too long out of the league, he can relate to us a little more on our level.
Bill has been in the game. He's played the game. He understands, I mean, immediately, you know, how we feel. And I think he has a perfect mix of being firm and cool.
It's a hell of a job. Keep it in perspective. And I think we play Cleveland next week.
It certainly gives you maybe a perspective that somebody else may not have, having just played. But, you know, at the same time, I think you still have to be yourself. I think that's the most important thing. If you can be yourself, you can be consistent, and you can have the open lines of communication. It gives you every opportunity to have a successful atmosphere.
Coach Cowher he's an intense, person. He's always going to be that way, and a lot of times, he's one of those guys that when you say get in your face, he's literally right there. I mean, he's in nose hair distance.
You get where you feel like you can rush the quarterback. You understand? Yeah. Rush the quarterback.
We always know where he stands. He's very honest with us. He looks us in the eye. He doesn't look away from us. He looks us straight in the eye and tells the truth.
Bill Cowher's a realist. I mean, he doesn't bull crap us around or tell us what he think we want to hear or try to use mind games on us.
We know what's at stake. There's no question. And we've come a long way. We've put a lot of time and energy into this. And we know that what we want has yet to be fulfilled. We want the whole thing. And there's no question that we have a great opportunity. And we're going to try to seize this moment.
There's also no question that Bill Cowher is on a roll, but the more I watch Bill Cowher, his intensity, his relationship with his players, he reminds me of you, Mike.
You know, I think in the beginning, Ahmad, that was true, and I think I handled the situation like that. I think the problem is once you get into coaching for a long period of time, a lot of people get jealous if you have success, and then maybe you change, maybe I change. But this organization's too solid. They're not going to change. This guy's going to be around for a long time.
How about, Joe, what about distractions? Now, all of a sudden, I hear they're planning to make a music video. They've had defensive players making some statements. Those are distractions.
A video, Ditka's laughing. He loved it. I would say this. I think Cowher is a no-nonsense guy. Did you notice the way he went and got in everybody's face when he talked to him? I think the thing that this guy likes is a focused team. Ray Seals in the locker room this week predicted that San Diego won't score. Hey, this guy hates that. I mean, nothing could be worse for a coach. That's on the bulletin board in San Diego's locker room, I'll guarantee you right now. And he's had to combat those things as a young coach here. And we're going to see what kind of a job he did today getting his team ready.
Well, if they can back up that video the way the Bears did, then there's nothing wrong with it. Now, when we return, we'll take a closer look at the Chargers and get field reports from Jim Gray and Will McDonough.
NFL Live, the AFC Championship, is brought to you by MCI's New Friends and Family, an automatic 25% savings on every call in the U.S. By American Airlines, something special in the air. And by the next generation of die-hard batteries.
193 million sisters and brothers, moms and dads, 126 million, 250 million friends. Now, for everyone, MCI introduces New Friends and Family. A 25% savings automatically when you spend just $10 a month. That's a 25% savings on every call to everyone in America, no matter what long-distance company they use. New Friends and Family. MCI customers are invited to join, and so is everyone else. So call us.
It's here. It's invading your living room. the RCA Home Theater. Big, bright, with powerful sound. For an experience so extraordinary, you won't believe your senses. It's where the future of television is taking you.
So, does it ever get any easier?
I don't think it's supposed to. It's a sophisticated flight simulator. But around here, we call it the box. Even though it doesn't fly, it's sure going to test how well you can. At American, we come here every year to get checked out. You know, I don't know of another airline that puts more emphasis on training.
See you next time.
Oh, I'll be back. But if you happen to be sitting behind me,
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
I bet you'll agree.
Welcome you aboard American Airlines.
It's worth it.
Ah, the joys of a minivan. That big sliding door, the heavy removable third seat, and those rear windows that don't roll down. Oh, what could be better? Introducing Odyssey. With 4 doors and an easy fold-away rear seat. It's not just a minivan, it's a Honda.
This is great. Don't you get it? We're dead. We don't get it there by 11. We're shut out. Game is over.
Dave, just tell him to send over a copy. Don't panic.
There's no copy. We didn't have time.
We're dead.
That's what I said. We're dead. I just said we're dead.
At Compact, we realize you never know when you're going to need information or where. So we created Aero, a powerful computer so small and lightweight you'll never be tempted to leave it behind.
See? No reason to panic. I'm buying lunch.
Lunch? You mean dinner?